I'm hiding from my kids. They might be banging on the door, but I just needed some time, alone time, some me time. It is the first full rain of the season here in Northern California. And I love the rain. I love gloomy days, especially when it's just been dry and pretty warm still. We're in November, it's been pretty warm, so I welcome this rainy day. And I just wanted to film something because I had this thought. I was reflecting as we do in the shower. And I thought about the first Mindbody coach that I worked with. She was great. She was very caring, very courteous, very loving. And she was the first coach ever that I've ever, she was the first service or thing, I guess, that I've ever invested that amount of money in towards myself. And so it was a really great experience. And this was a few years ago now. And she got better through learning about TMS and the mind-body connection and all of these things. And one of the activities that we did that kind of blew my mind at the time, because like I said, this was my first foray into all this stuff, was that she had me write letters to my mom, my dad, and anyone else that I felt I was holding offense against. And at the time, it blew my mind because all this stuff started coming out towards my mom, my dad, all these other people that I felt like have wronged me my life, and like just writing however raw, true feelings I felt towards them, and then writing that I forgive them and I love them. That was so cathartic for me because I've never done that before. And I just had this thought in the shower this morning. Now, a few years later, down the road, and after doing MindChange and transformational NLP and all these modalities and practices and trying to implement these things in my life, my brain reminded me of this specific person and this specific incident that still bothered me. So I thought about it, and it was like, wow, this is funny that this is coming to mind right now. And I guess I should preface this by saying I've been doubling down on all the MindChange stuff. If you don't know what MindChange is, I have links below and you can look into what it is. Basically, they go in and their method of rewiring the brain is changing memories, because memories aren't real, and it's the emotional charge that we're holding on to that are associated with these memories that are creating the life that we want and programming the life that we want. And if we don't like it, we can change it. That's it in a gist. There's more to it. So if you're interested, look into it. I'm part of the student community. So I've been doubling down on a lot of MindChange stuff because when I was doing it over a year ago, I don't think I quite understood it. Maybe I wasn't quite ready, so to speak. But as things have progressed and I'm growing and learning more about myself, I'm realizing that, I need to double down on this right now. Go in and change those memories that I was very resistant and reluctant to a little bit. Yeah, there's like all these things that were coming up. So anyway, when you do that, you tend to have you can have very vivid dreams and really stressful dreams. And I had a really stressful dream last night. So I consulted ChatGPT to ask about it. You guys, I've been using ChatGPT for like everything. It has superseded Google for me. Like, it just gives more robust answers. I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. But I asked ChatGPT to interpret it, and it just like, I resonated with the response. Anyway, that's a side note. Anyway, so it was a very stressful subconscious activity going on last night because I had a really stressful dream. And then so in the shower, back to the story, in the shower, I was reminded of this specific person and this specific incident that I thought I had resolved, but it was coming up again. And this specific person, I literally remember writing a letter to them about how much they offended me, and now, I forgive them. And then it's like a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had this realization that all of those letters, I wasn't really writing to my mom or my dad or this person or that person who offended me. I was right. All of the things that came out in those letters, offenses and forgiveness, whatever, they were all secretly to me. Like, all of this bitterness and blame and you did this, you did that, like the patterning of blame and shame, it just clicked in my head where I was like, oh, it has nothing to do with them. I was actually writing to the part of me that has been doing those offensive things to me, and it was just projected in other people. Yes, but here's the thing. Yes, especially with my regards to my mom and dad, the things that did happen, they, I was a kid. Kids are powerless. They're victims because they have to rely on their caregivers for survival. So all of the things that I remember happening with my parents, any offenses or neglect or abandonment or abuse, whatever, valid when I was a child. But I had carried those into adulthood and I was still exhibiting the same tactics and mindsets and beliefs of that as a victimized child into my adulthood. And that's what caused this perfect storm of just show of events that have now catapulted my life into this recovery journey in everything, in health, in finances, in relationships, in beliefs, how I perceive the world, how I've been showing up in the world. Like, it has really brought me down to ground zero because it is now time to rebuild, if that makes sense. So that was my aha moment. I think I'm sharing this because for those of you who are just starting this journey and you're like, you hear about these tools and modalities to do where, like, you write letters to those who offend you, or you write to yourself and things like that. I think I want to implore you to understand that, hey, you're actually not writing to those specific people or events that have happened to you, that have hurt you. It's if you're an adult, yeah, if you're a teenager watching this, it may not apply to you because you still have caregivers and stuff like that. So that's a caveat there. But if you're a full-fledged adult and you're trying to figure out your life and you're trying to maneuver through a challenge, a really hard challenge, like long-winded, like chronic illness recovery and things like that, and you're trying to get out of fight or flight mode, just understand, like, everything that you're feeling, that you feel towards other people, it's like 95% of the time, maybe even more, those are feelings that you actually feel about yourself. There's a disconnect between parts of yourself. And one is this part that's been trying to keep you safe. It's usually the amygdala that's like holding on to remembering all of these offenses that other people have done to you because it's trying to keep you safe, and it's trying to, like, alert you, like, hey, this pattern was very hurtful, so we need to, like, work around that. And usually the things that develop the personality traits and the mannerisms and the way we go about it to kind of mitigate and manage around these past offenses, it doesn't quite work. It kind of keeps you stuck, and you see, like, literally you're in a cycle and a cycle and a cycle of safety, what your brain thinks it needs to do to be safe. So, all the normal stuff, people pleasing, perfectionism, goodism, all these things where you have to shut down true parts of yourself. I know it's getting so, like, I don't know, esoteric and whatever, but anyway, and I'm rambling. Okay, sure. I own up to that. But I think I just want to, like, if you're in the letter writing part of your journey, this is my advice to you, or my tip to you, is all these things, you're not really forgiving these people. It's all you. Like, your neglectful father, that's true. I experienced that. But the neglect part is you. Like, you have been neglecting yourself. the narcissistic, hypercritical mother who love to induce shame that you're fighting so hard against. There's a part of you that has absorbed that has learned that neuroplasticity, that has learned that, and you've been doing the same thing to yourself. So it's no wonder the body goes crazy, right? It's no wonder the brain goes a little crazy there, because it's trying to communicate and tell you, hey, you have all these not inherently bad, but you have all these patterns and all these traits that are really destructive, and you have no idea that it's running your program, it's running your life. And so when you can step back and kind of look at everything and you look at your life, you start to see the patterns where you're like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. This doesn't make sense. What did I learn here? What pattern is running that I learned that is not helping me anymore to be healthy, wealthy, stable, loved, supported in an authentic way? So it's very, I realize if you're new to this can sound really abstract, or it can sound like, oh, Leanne, you're so late to the story. I know, I'm learning that I am a slow-ish learner because it's one thing to know things, in the head space, but to implement, integrate, experience it firsthand, let your body experience these lessons, these hard-earned lessons, it's a different story you have to go through. And that's how wisdom is birthed. So that was a ramble. Yeah. But I think this is just my call. The aha moment I had was everything is me. In that all the offenses, all the shit that has happened in my life, every emotion I feel, how I perceive this person's behavior and how they're acting and how it's affecting me, it's all me, right? That's all like the proverbial like thing in the quantum space is like, the world, your life is your mirror. What's happening outside of you, all the beautiful, wonderful triggers, it's all a mirror for what's going on inside of you. So if you got an issue here with this person, with this thing, it always comes back to what's going on in here in your heart, or your heart right here, what's going on in your mind. And it's when you're a child, it's so much easier to project all of the problems that you have, or the issues or emotional disturbances or whatever discomforts. You have to project to adults because you're a child. You need the support and the help to help maneuver through that, but it doesn't work. Projection doesn't work anymore as an adult. You have to take full ownership of everything and engage with it and get introspective and ask questions like, do I want this? What do I want for my life? How do I want it to look like? So yeah, that was just a big aha moment. Like, it wasn't, I'm not offended by this person. This is all me. I'm the person that offended me. And because I've been holding on to this memory of this offense, and I've been holding on to, all these feelings and need for justification and things like that. But that's not quite the best way to go about things, right? Because we want to let go, we want to release, we want to move forward, we want to be renewed. So if our hands are holding on so tightly to things, there's not much else it can hold on to. It can't grab the new, We have to let the old go. So that's a ramble. Hopefully you got something out of it. And I hear little hands trying to open the doorknob, but I am going to spend the rest of the day just reflecting again, because that was a big revelation, doing some more mind change stuff. Really look into it. Mind change has been very interesting. I wasn't quite like, it didn't quite like amaze me or give me like these incredible immediate results when I started doing mind change over a year ago, but I can see how it's a compounding thing. There's been a lot of things that just like an aha moment, aha moment, aha moment. It's just layers and layers of stuff. So, and that is the growth process. Is it fun? No, it's not fun. It's drudgery, you know, like it's like you feel like you're just like, you're clawing and you're just scrambling and you're just trying to get to the next yard, you know, and it's just a messy, murky experience. But hey, you're in it. What else can you do? You know, you got to keep moving forward. So I leave you with that, and I'm gonna go do some trauma informed yoga. I've been following this girl, Caitlin Kelly. I hope I'm saying that wrong. Right. I hope I'm saying that right. These are my I'll post my 2 favorite videos of her below, but it's like, it's so gentle, and there's this beautiful emotional release, and it's so loving, it's so compassionate, it's so graceful, it's so elegant. So got my bolster, and that is what I'm gonna go do. So I wish you guys a wonderful week whenever you're watching this. I wish you healing and love and introspection that leads towards healing, growth, wholeness, because you deserve it. And I know that it's so easy to say, but I find that you make a lot of progress in these things when you can say, hey, I'm deserving, and you can feel it in your body. It lands in your system. And I hear my daughter, so with that, take care.